Alright, so as you can see, I went ahead and removed those other two abilities since I'm not supposed to have them. So, and yeah, I'm basically going to be maining the Storm spec. It's honestly one of my favorite specs. You know, the idea of utilizing lightning as your main source. You know, unlimited power! You know, sorry. Had to do it once. Oh my gosh! The Herald of Atrocity is robbing us! Shut up, Frank.
That's her. That's the Herald of Andraste. Why did Lady Cassandra have her in chains? I thought Seekers knew everything.
The naivete of the people of Thedas. You heard that, right? He's like, I thought the Seekers knew everything. My friend, you are a little naive if that's what you really think.
May God be with you.
We'll talk to some other people later. Obviously, we have kind of a priority to just go straight to the Chantry. Then things will actually get underway and get going here and open up.
She stopped the breach from getting any bigger. Chancellor Roderick says that the Chantry wants nothing to do with us.
I'm not going to read everything in this. There's a lot. Plus, I like to try and, you know, preserve my throat as much as I can. A Vitar. Whoops. No? After extensive study of the Kunari specimens that you kindly provided, I've come to the conclusion... Who says this? Someone we don't know. That the painted markings on their face and body are not in fact solely for ceremonial purpose, but provide a practical benefit. Oh, I'm certain there is some cultural significance to the patterns and colors that they choose, but the Kunari do nothing without purpose, yes? They call these markings Vitar, which in their tongue means poison armor. It's called this because the markings are magical in nature and actually harden their skin to an iron-like quality without hindering flexibility. And my analysis says the paint consists largely of poison. It's mixed with something else, blood, perhaps their own, and that neutralizes the poison, but only for one with Kunari physiology. Anyone else would perish almost instantly, which reminds me, I'll kindly require another body slave. The process activates the magical qualities of the poison, which provides the protective effects, almost in the same manner that lyrium runes do. How this works and whether it can be used for some other our purposes will require further study. Perhaps some live specimens this time? No. That was from a magister, so of course they would be like, hey, maybe, and you're like, no! No, are you insane? But yeah, you can notice the difference when you look at her face there, when you put this on. Yeah. By the way, yes, we do get the Arishok's armor. And we do get this one as well. The Antomsar. Because you'll notice that's her face right there. But when we get to the Vitar, it does that. But, like it said, it also is supposed to provide some other stuff. And, of course, Vitars are Kunari only. And they do provide some stat bonuses as well. So we'll go ahead and put that one on as well. Huh. It's highlighted, but I can't pick it up. Oh, wait, I already did read it. Silly me. Chantry Hierarchy. Yeah, very long. Trying to read everything in one of these kind of games, well, that's like trying to read everything in, say, an Elder Scrolls game. Or rather, specifically in Morrowind. Which is like, nope, that's insane. I see that, and it's times like that I miss being a rogue. There are certain games I love being a rogue in. It's ironic that World of Warcraft is not one of them.
Have you gone completely mad? She should be taken to Val Royo immediately, to be tried by whomever becomes divine.
I do not believe she is guilty.
The Qunari failed, Seeker. The breach is still in the sky. For all you know, she intended it this way.
I do not believe that.
That is not for you to decide. Your duty is to serve the Chantry.
My duty is to serve the principles on which the Chantry was founded, Chancellor, as is yours.
Yep. That I will agree on. And again, you'll notice how he's basically doing the you're supposed to serve the Chantry, which what he's saying is you should do what I tell you to do because I'm part of the Chantry organization, therefore you are supposed to do what I say. And she's like, no. This is where I started to really like Cassandra more and more, the way she was sticking up to him like that. Oh yeah, that's right, I need to keep those for later. I'll turn them in later.
Chain her! I want her prepared for travel to the capital for trial.
Disregard that, and leave us.
You walk a dangerous line, Seeker.
The breach is stable, but it is still a threat. I will not ignore it.
I did everything I could to close the breach. It almost killed me.
Yet you live. A convenient result insofar as you're concerned.
Have a care, Chancellor. The breach is not the only threat we face.
Someone was behind the explosion at the Conclave. Someone most holy did not expect. Perhaps they died with the others, or have allies who yet live.
I am a suspect?
You, and many others.
But not the prisoner.
I heard the voices in the temple. The Divine called to her for help.
So her survival, that thing on her hand, all a coincidence.
Providence. The Maker sent her to us in our darkest hour.
Now, one of the things I like about some of these dialogue, depending on what you're playing, is that it will be different based on what you are. Like this one right here, this I am not a chosen one, that is going to be different based on what you say. Like, you know, if you're an elf, she'll refer to the fact that, like, you know that I'm an elf and I believe in the elven gods, and, you know, now you'll actually get to choose if you actually believe that or not. But even later on when she asks, you know, based on what you are, can be able to actually change your answer. So...
You realize I'm Qunari.
I have not forgotten. No matter what you are or what you believe, you are exactly what we needed when we needed it.
The breach remains, and your mark is still our only hope of closing it.
This is not for you to decide.
You know what this is, Chancellor. A writ from the Divine, granting us the authority to act. As of this moment, I declare the Inquisition reborn. We will close the breach, we will find those responsible, and we will restore order, with or without your approval.
This is the Divine's directive. Rebuild the Inquisition of old. Find those who will stand against the chaos. We aren't ready. We have no leader, no numbers. And now, no Chantry support.
But we have no choice. We must act now, with you at our side.
What is the Inquisition of old? exactly?
It preceded the Chantry. People who banded together to restore order in a world gone mad.
After, they laid down their banner and formed the Templar Order, but the Templars have lost their way. We need those who can do what must be done united under a single banner once more.
But aren't you still part of the Chantry?
Is that what you see?
The Chantry will take time to find a new divine. And then it will wait for her direction.
But we cannot wait. So many Grand Clerics died at the Conclave. No, we are on our own. Perhaps forever.
You're trying to start a holy war.
We are already at war. You are already involved. Its mark is upon you. As to whether the war is holy, that depends on what we discover.
What if I refuse?
You can go if you wish.
You should know that while some believe you chosen, many still think you guilty. The Inquisition can only protect you if you are with us.
We can also help you.
It will not be easy if you stay, but you cannot pretend this has not changed you.
When I woke up, I certainly didn't picture this outcome.
Neither did we.
Help us fix this before it's too late.
You know, I remember when BioWare released a poll out to the community, and they were asking the players what they thought about a possible title for the next Dragon Age game. And there were, you know, a few different ones, and one of them was Inquisition. I remember seeing that poll thinking, what are they thinking in terms of the direction to go for this next game? By the way, you'll notice the two ravens that she just sent out. One went to that place, which is where the Templars are, and to Redcliffe, which is where the mages are. And you'll notice Redcliffe obviously looks a little different, but it still looks very similar to how it looked in Origins. How many of you love to jokingly think about that hilarious scene from History of the World Part 1, where Mel Brooks is doing that bit, the Inquisition, what a show, the Inquisition, here we go. Because obviously, you can't help but think of that when your game is literally titled The Inquisition. Like I said about this game before, it tries to be very epic, but also very thematic. Like, really have these moments of grandeur and really play up how big, important, and amazing and epic they are. And just like that, our outfit was changed again. And of course, this is now where the game actually starts.
So we're heretics, just like that. Should we surrender or... Don't be foolish. We are the chance.
We'll talk to Varric in a moment. But obviously it wants us to get familiar with various different things about how the game works, like this.
Thanks for... I didn't realise any of Leliana's Oxmen mercenaries were still here. Well, if you want new gear, you pay for it. Oh, you're her. Thrin. Inquisition Quartermaster. I'm doing what I can to supply this mess. If you find what I need to fill one of my requisitions, I'd appreciate you bringing it in.
What do you do here?
I'll make sure the Inquisition troops have food in their bellies and iron in their hands. Both are important. Lots of people expecting us to be heroes, marching all day to fight the demons. Turns out heroes need to dig latrines just like everyone else.
How does someone end up as quartermaster for the Inquisition?
I served for Eldon under Ten Loghain MacTier. Best commanding officer this world has ever seen. After they all turned on him at Denerim, though, there wasn't much use for people who held that opinion. Queen Honora offered my services to the Inquisition. It was a kindness. She knew I supported her father and got me away from the political garbage.
I understand Loghain joined the Grey Wardens after the Blight ended.
Yes. A mercy, people called it. Serving the Order they say he betrayed. He could have led Ferelden to greatness. Instead, he lives in exile, fighting Darkspawn until the day he dies. Can I help you with something?
What did you mean when you mentioned requisitions?
I'm making this Inquisition run with what we have, but we're not a real army. We're stretched thin on materials, so I've put up a requisition list for anything that could help our people. Here, take a look. You find some iron and a good logging site, maybe Harriet can get our troops better weapons.
If I have material for a special order, do I bring it to you?
Just take it over there. One of my boys will take the materials or jot down what you found.
Farewell.
Make her go with you. You find anything we need, let me know.
Let's chat with our buddy Varric. Varric? Varric? Oh gosh, he won't talk to me! No! Varric, talk to me! Don't ignore me!
My creator, judge me whole. Find me well within your grace.
I spoke with Commander Cullen.
Fire that I
No word for heaven or for earth or sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker
See reason,
rang
Lisette.
out.
We cannot
First
stay here.
word,
Why not?
and his word
Because we're
became
Templars.
What does that even mean anymore? That we splinter and fight amongst ourselves instead of protecting the mages?
Better that than stay here with this Inquisition.
You're awfully quick to dismiss the people who saved your life, Matrin.
This is a little jarring for me because I actually know somebody in real life named Lisette. She's a good friend of mine, so when I see a character named Lisette, I'm like, oh my gosh!
Yes?
Do you have any idea what caused the explosion?
No, I'm just a recruit. Belief and faith doesn't get you closer to the important meetings. Though that distance did save my life.
You're not going to rejoin the Order?
When the temple went up, your forces rescued those few of us still alive. My life is a debt I intend to repay, however I can.
I like your take on the Templar Order.
It's a shadow of what it was. Where once we both protected all people from the dangers of magic, we now posture and grab at power. One day, I hope the circles are again sanctuaries where mages can practice their craft.
I will talk to you later.
Walk in the Maker's grace.
only the word, sing only the chant. Then the golden city is thine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. Varric!
So, now that Cassandra's out of earshot, are you holding up all right? I mean, you go from being the most wanted criminal in Thedas to joining the armies of the faithful. Most people would have spread that out over more than one day.
I have no idea what's happening anymore.
That makes two of us. For days now, we've been staring at the breach, watching demons and maker knows what fall out of it. Bad for morale would be an understatement. I still can't believe anyone was in there and lived.
If it was that bad, why did you stay? Cassandra said you were free to go.
I like to think I'm as selfish and irresponsible as the next guy, but this... Thousands of people died on that mountain. I was almost one of them. And now there's a hole in the sky. Even I can't walk away and just leave that to sort itself out.
I'm still not sure I believe any of this is really happening.
If this is all just the Maker winding us up, I hope there's a damn good punchline coming. You might want to consider running at the first opportunity. I've written enough tragedies to recognize where this is going. Heroes are everywhere. I've seen that. But the hole in the sky... that's beyond heroes. We're going to need a miracle. Need something?
I've read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
There's no way Hawk really could have killed the Arashok. It would have started a war with the Kunari.
I was told later that the Kunari disavowed his actions. Apparently the Arashok didn't get permission before he attacked Kirkwall, and the Qun didn't want another exalted march. When they finally sent a ship to haul the wrecked dreadnought away, they just said, "We will never speak of this again." As far as I can tell, that's the Qun's version of an apology.
Now, when you think about it, he's actually right. When the Arishok did what he did at the end of Act 2, he did so because at the time, he felt like he had no other choice, that it was a demand of the Qun. He pointed out how he just felt like he couldn't sit by and do nothing, and he couldn't accommodate what they were asking him, so there was only one solution. But he didn't get authority or permission from his higher-ups in Par Valen. So that's where they were like, okay, let's try to sweep this under the rug. We'll forget about that this ever happened.
Where are the rest of Hawk's associates now?
Meryl decided to look after the elves left homeless by the fighting. She's done a pretty good job of keeping them away from the mages and Templars, so far. I guess she has plenty of practice avoiding stupid human battles with her old Dalish clan. Fenris has kept himself busy, hunting down the Tevinter slavers who came south to prey on the refugees. I'm not sure exactly where he is at the moment. You can usually follow the trail of corpses, though. Isabella went back to the raiders. She's calling herself an admiral now. I don't know if she's actually in charge or just has a really big hat. Might be the same thing, honestly. Sebastian went back to Starkhaven. I'm sure he's boring all sorts of people there. Hawk's little sister is in the Free Marches, helping some of the other survivors from the Kirkwall Circle. Aveline is still guard captain. I'm pretty sure Kirkwall would fall into the sea if she quit her job. Need something?
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
Are you from Ferelden? Or Ley?
Free Marches, born and raised in Kirkwall. And despite whatever you've heard, no, Kirkwall's not that bad.
I beg to differ, Varric.
I'm not clear on your line of work. You're a merchant?
I'm a businessman. My family has a seat in the Dwarven Merchants Guild. Merchants buy and sell goods. Businessmen buy and sell stores. In my spare time, I manage a spy network, and occasionally, I write books.
You're an author. What kind of books have you written?
I've tried my hands at a few genres. My crime serials are my most popular. Hard in Hightown, guards breaking the rules to get things done. The Tale of the Champion is the most famous thing I've written, or infamous, maybe. I started a romance serial once, Swords and Shields, but to be honest, I don't have a knack for romances. Most of my stories end in tragedy. Probably that says something unfortunate about me personally.
Okay, so a few things. One, don't feel bad, Varric. I know plenty of writers that feel that they have to always have their stories end in tragedy, because apparently they think that's the only way stories can end, which is not true. But anyways. Second, do you know how many people I heard were so devastatingly disappointed that Varric was not a romance option? So many people wanted to romance Varric, and they couldn't. Like, even if, like, the requirements were that he only would date, say, a female dwarf, but then again, Varric doesn't come across as the kind of guy who would only have an interest in a female, dwarf only. But anyways. And third, can I tell you that the quest in this game involving his romance series with Cassandra is one of my absolute favorite moments in this entire game. I'm going to try my best to do that quest again in this playthrough, because my gosh, I love that quest so much.
If you run a spy network, why is Liliana our spy master?
To be honest with you, she's just a better spy master. The truly great ones can keep their distance. They don't get attached to their people. Me, I always wind up babysitting my informants and worrying about their families. We're in better hands with her.
What sort of shops do you own?
Actually, we don't own shops. That was just an example. Mostly we invest in moneylenders. Auction houses, a few mercenary companies, a couple of smithies. I think we own half a beet plantation in Ravane somewhere. Most of that's my brother's doing. Bartrand had business sense. Not much tact, but loads of business sense.
How do you and Cassandra know each other?
You heard about the Kirkwall Chantry being destroyed? The guy responsible used to be a friend of mine. The Seeker had questions about that, and I had answers.
Where did you get that crossbow? I've never seen one like it.
Bianca? She's one of a kind. I got her off a guy in Darktown. Took me a week to pry his dead fingers off the stock.
Who is she named for?
I can't tell you.
And the reason for that is?
Complicated. It's the one story I'll never tell. We just have to leave it at that.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem.
We'll ask him about Red Lyrium later. For now, let's go chat with Solus. And then I think we'll just go ahead and start the next part.
The chosen of Andraste, a blessed hero sent to save us all.
Am I riding in on a shining steed?
I would have suggested a griffon, but sadly they're extinct. Joke as you will, posturing is necessary. I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds. When I dream in such places, I go deep into the Fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins? Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, they are usually content to live and let...
Nope. 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 That's where I draw the line right there. I'm like, nope. No, I'm not doing that.
I've never heard of anyone going so far into the Fade. That's extraordinary.
Thank you. It's not a common field of study for obvious reasons. Not so flashy as throwing fire or lightning. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay there. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate mage surrounded by Chantry forces, and unlike you, I do not have a divine mark protecting me. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
Cassandra trusts you. She won't let anyone put you into a circle against your will.
Thank you. I appreciate the thought. But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach. Closing the breach is our primary goal, but I hope we might also discover what was used to create it. Any artifact of such power is dangerous. The destruction of the Conclave proves that much.
You don't think whatever created the explosion was destroyed in the blast?
You survived, did you not? The artifact that created the breach is unlike anything seen in this age. I will not believe it destroyed until I see the shattered fragments with my own eyes.
Anything with that kind of power is bound to show up sooner or later.
Liliana's people have scoured the area near the blast and found nothing. Whatever the artifact was, it is no longer there. In any case, did you need me for anything?
I'd like to know more about you, Solus.
Why?
Why not?
Privacy? Caution? Concern about the direction of this Inquisition once our work is done?
Then don't tell me. I wasn't asking as part of the Inquisition.
I am sorry. With so much fear in the air. What would you know of me?
What made you start studying the Fade?
I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man, especially one gifted with magic. But as I slept, spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I had never imagined. I treasured my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome.
Remember, a lot of this is, I'm pretty sure, is a big, gigantic lie. Just keep that in mind. Like, oh, I grew up in a village to the north. No, you didn't.
Did spirits try to tempt you?
No more than a brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits, and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore.
I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming.
No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade.
Why?
2 reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new. Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imaginations. To find interesting areas, one must be interesting.
Is this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger. If our enemies destroyed the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
Well, it's not the worst reason I've heard to go out and enjoy life.
I'm glad to hear it. In truth, I have enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the Fade.
How so?
You train your will to control magic and withstand possession. Your indomitable focus is an enjoyable side benefit. You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
You said you'd traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, and you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar. I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signal fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Kaelin's forces.
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire, and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Kaelin fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
And you can't tell which is real?
It is the Fade. They are all real.
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
You're saying that you became friends with pride and desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
You trust these spirits not to possess you the first time you accidentally make a wish?
Do you trust your friends not to turn on you?
Well, yes, but they're people.
Ah, of course.
You know what I mean.
Are people only people because they are flesh and blood? Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her faith? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
I hadn't thought about it that way, but I see your point.
Thank you. Few are willing to entertain such a notion.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
I know I'm kind of skipping some of the other stuff we're kind of supposed to explore in this area. But that's kind of because I want to get something unlocked. Mainly the table over here.
Does it trouble you?
It stopped spreading, and it doesn't hurt.
We take our victories where we can. What's important is that your mark is now stable, as is the breach. You've given us time, and Solas believes a second attempt might succeed, provided the mark has more power. The same level of power used to open the breach in the first place. That is not easy to come by.
Clearly you have something in mind.
We do. You've met Commander Cullen, leader of the Inquisitions.
Hello.
It was only for a moment on the field. I'm pleased you survived.
This is Lady Josephine Montelier, our ambassador and chief diplomat.
You're even taller than I'd heard.
And of course, you know Sister Liliana.
My position here involves a degree of...
She is our spy master.
Yes, tactfully put, Cassandra.
That's an impressive bunch of titles.
I mentioned that your mark needs more power to close the breach for good.
Which means we must approach the rebel mages for help.
And I still disagree. The Templars could serve just as well.
We need power, Commander. Enough magic poured into that mark.
Might destroy us all. Templars could suppress the breach, weaken it, so...
Pure speculation.
I was a Templar. I know what they're capable of.
Unfortunately, neither group will even speak to us yet. The Chantry has denounced the Inquisition, and you specifically.
They still think I'm guilty.
That is not the entirety of it any longer. Some are calling you, a Kunari, the Herald of Andraste. That frightens the Chantry. The remaining clerics have declared it blasphemy, and we, heretics, for harboring you.
Chancellor Roderick's doing, no doubt.
It limits our options. Approaching the mages or Templars for help is currently out of the question.
Just how am I the Herald of Andraste?
People saw what you did at the temple, how you stopped the breach from growing. They have also heard about the woman seen in the rift when we first found you. They believe that was Andraste.
Even if we tried to stop that view from spreading...
Which we have not.
The point is, everyone is talking about you.
It's quite the title, isn't it? How do you feel about that?
It's a little unsettling.
I'm sure the Chantry would agree.
People are desperate for a sign of hope. For some, you're that sign.
And to others, a symbol of everything that's gone wrong.
So if I wasn't with the Inquisition...
Well, let's be honest, they would have censored us no matter what.
And you not being here isn't an option.
There is something you can do. A Chantry cleric by the name of Mother Giselle has asked to speak to you. She is not far, and knows those involved far better than I. Her assistance could be invaluable.
Why would someone from the Chantry help a declared heretic?
I understand she's a reasonable sort. Perhaps she does not agree with her sisters. You will find Mother Giselle tending to the wounded in the hinterlands near Redcliffe.
Look for other opportunities to expand the Inquisition's influence while you're there.
We need agents to extend our reach beyond this valley, and you're better suited than anyone to recruit them.
In the meantime, let's think of other options. I won't leave this all to the Herald.
Alright, so we finally get the operations table. Don't have what I need to be able to get any perks at the moment, but trust me, that'll change. Oh, Scout Harding. That's another character that people were not happy that they could not romance. So many people wanted to romance Scout Harding. You can flirt with her, yes, but you can't have a full-on romance with her. And it was just like, aww. I love that even Vivienne later on assumes that you would have romanced Harding at some point and you never did. She's like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, I gotta go ahead and do this in order to unlock the table. So we'll go ahead and make our way to the place that everyone hates. The hinterlands. I say that jokingly because let's just say it's now common knowledge that everyone is like, don't get stuck in the hinterlands. Like, get out of the hinterlands. Because you can be stuck here doing stuff for a long time.
Of Andraste. I've heard the stories. Everyone has. We know what you did at the breach. They might not know much about the Qunari, but you'll get no backtalk from anyone here. That's a promise. Inquisition Scout Harding, at your service. Well, all of us here, will do whatever we can to help.
Harding, huh? Ever been to Kirkwall's Hightown?
I can't say I have. Why?
You'd be Harding and... No, never mind.
Ugh.
I'm starting to worry about these stories that everyone's heard.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about. They only say you're the last great hope for Thedas.
Oh, wonderful.
The hinterlands are as good a place as any to start fixing things. We came to secure horses from Redcliffe's old horsemaster. I grew up here, and people always said that Dennett's herds were the strongest and the fastest this side of the Frostbacks. But with the Mage Templar fighting getting worse, we couldn't get to Dennett. Maker only knows if he's even still alive. Mother Giselle's at the crossroads helping refugees and the wounded. Our latest reports say that the war's spread there too. Corporal Vale and our men are doing what they can to help protect the people, but they won't be able to hold out very long. You best get going. No time to lose.
So yeah, welcome to the hinterlands. Yep. And of course Redcliffe is up there. Oh my gosh, the amount of time I've spent just running like this in these areas, just from one point to another, unlocking camps, getting to Fade Rifts, you name it. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
What is it?
This may be worthwhile.
Tapestries. Do you come to see the tapestries? Like I also was trying to point out, I found some mods to try and make doing this less tedious and an easier experience. Like for one thing, no more falling damage. That's a big thing.
Inquisition forces. They're trying to protect the refugees.
Looks like they could use a hand.
So here's the actual movement speed. It's only in combat. And I really wish it was also, like, out of combat.
I do not think they care, Seeker. Be ready. More coming our way.
And that right there is one of the reasons why I like the Storm spec. Like, I'm sorry, it's cool. It's cool to be able to just, you know, shoot out, you know, like a bunch of lightning and call it down from the sky and all that. I just think it's cool. Now, of course, I'm using a fire staff, so I'm also using fire, but you guys, I'm sure, get what I mean.
We are victorious once more.
We've claimed this town in your name.
There are mages here who can heal your wounds. Lie still.
Don't let them touch me, Mother. Their magic is...
Turn to noble purpose. Their magic is surely no more evil than your blade.
What?
Hush, dear boy. Allow them to ease your suffering.
But mages can't heal anymore, Mother. Oh.
I am. And you must be the one they are calling the Herald of Andraste.
What you said to that soldier...
We do not teach that magic is evil. We teach that pride is evil, and does not corrupt only mages. But I did not ask you to come simply to debate with me.
Then why am I here?
I know of the Chantry's denouncement, and I am familiar with those behind it. I won't lie to you. Some of them are grandstanding, hoping to increase their chances of becoming the new divine. Some are simply terrified. So many good people, senselessly taken from us.
Why don't you stand with the rest of the Chantry?
With no divine, we are each left to our own conscience, and mine tells me this. Go to them. Convince the remaining clerics you are no demon to be feared. They have heard only frightful tales of you. Give them something else to believe.
Mother Giselle, you realize what you're asking of me, right? You're asking me to go in front of a bunch of clerks and bureaucrats and try to actually convince them that what they think about me is not true. You're trying to ask me to make water not wet. Like, you're kind of asking a really ridiculous, almost impossible task of me right now. You do realize that, right?
That won't just make it worse?
Because you are a mage?
That too.
Let me put it this way. You needn't convince them all. You just need some of them to doubt. Their power is their unified voice, Take that from them and you receive the time you need.
So I show up, say hello, show them the mark on my hand?
I honestly don't know if you've been touched by fate, or sent to help us, but I hope. Hope is what we need now. The people will listen to your rallying call, as they will listen to no other. You could build the Inquisition into a force that will deliver us, or destroy us. I will go to Haven, and provide Sister Leliana the names of those in the Chantry who will be amenable to a gathering. It is not much, but I will do whatever I can.
Alright. So now this place gets unlocked as a fast travel location.
The Inquisition's efforts in the area. We should speak with him.
Under protection of the Inquisition. Oh yeah, there's also this other store that I got here as a part of this. You'll see there's some pretty nice stuff that you can actually go ahead and acquire here. As you can see. Yep. Now you're thinking, but it costs so much. That is true. However, I'm trying to make sure I can actually do this right, because the last time I tried to do this, it didn't seem to work. And I'm concerned that some of the other mods I've added may have caused an issue with that other mod. The one that allows me to just simply sell stuff to the one guy in Haven, and he gives me an insane amount of gold for it. But anyways, I'm basically trying to kind of continue here to the point where we can actually just go ahead and unlock the actual operations table. In case I want to unlock, say, the Black Emporium and such.
Mages and Templars don't seem to care who gets caught in their war. The refugees here are in dire need of help. If the war doesn't kill them, cold or starvation will.
What can you tell me about the man who's supposed to be getting horses for the Inquisition?
Horsemaster Dennett. He lives on a farm to the west. Tough old fella. We haven't heard from him. Best we can tell, he's holed up until the Mages and Templars are done killing each other.
You were concerned about refugees starving?
Yes. Many of them brought food, but they expected to be home by now, or safe in a city. There's a hunter up the hill who had some ideas.
What other problems do these refugees face?
We've got some injuries that go beyond stitches and elf fruit. I know healers are in short supply, but if you can find someone in Redcliffe to help us, it would save a lot of lives.
Is there anything we can do to help people deal with the cold?
I asked the Inquisition to send blankets. You'd think I was asking for a wagon of raw lyrium. A recruit named Whittle is trying to make what we can bring in last. If you have any ideas, talk to him across the road.
What can you tell me about the Templars?
All the Templars were called to Val Royeaux not long ago. These bastards ignored the order. Now they're killing rebel mages, along with any refugees they think are mage sympathizers. Every Templar I've ever known has wanted to protect the common folk. These men defile their order's good name.
What can you tell me about the rebel mages?
The real rebels are up north in Redcliffe, dug in and taking care of their own. The ones out here are just apostates, locked up in the circles all these years, and now they've gone mad with power. The rebels in Redcliffe have washed their hands of them. I wish we could do the same.
Farewell.
And you as well.
Alright, so now getting Inquisition power is available, which means we can also start working on some of that other side stuff. You'll notice now the main thing for the quest is get 4 power and then use that to be able to unlock traveling to Val Royeaux. Also now at this point, other certain things have changed or unlocked. For example, you'll notice the conversation with Cassandra over there is now unlocked. I'm hoping a lot of these things will go ahead and stay the same, because I'm mainly just trying to power my way over here to unlock the table and just have that up and running. for my own use in case I ever want to do that, I don't know, off camera or get some other stuff done real quick, you know. Let's get this cutscene underway.
Your kind killed the most holy.
Lies. Your kind let her die.
Shut your mouth, mage!
Enough!
Knight Commander!
That is not my title. We are not Templars any longer. We are all part of the Inquisition.
And what does that mean, exactly?
Back already, Chancellor. Haven't you done enough?
I'm curious, Commander, as to how your Inquisition and its herald will restore order as you've promised.
Of course you are. Back to your duties, all of you.
I like this conversation here between Cullen and Roderick.
Mages and Templars were already at war. Now they're blaming each other for the Divine's death.
Which is why we require a proper authority to guide them back to order.
Who? You? Random clerics who weren't important enough to be at the Conclave?
The Rebel Inquisition and its so-called Herald of Andraste? I think not.
I don't know. The Inquisition seems about as functional as any young family.
How many families are on the verge of splitting into open warfare with themselves?
Yes, because that would never happen to the Chantry.
Centuries of tradition will guide us. We are not the upstart, eager to turn over every apple cart.
And that, of course, is another aspect of Roderick. He's a traditionalist. He's like, excuse me, we have centuries of tradition, and there's no way that will go wrong for us. What? That's basically what he just said.
Remind me why you're allowing the Chancellor to stay.
Clearly, your Templar knows where to draw the line.
He's toothless. There's no point turning him into a martyr simply because he runs at the mouth. The Chancellor's a good indicator of what to expect in Val Royeaux, however.
Oh, I'm aware.
How widespread is the violence between mages and Templars?
Impossible to say.
Your organization flouting the Chantry's authority will not help matters.
With the Conclave destroyed, I imagine the war between mages and Templars is renewed with interest.
The mages and Templars are fighting, even though we don't know what really happened at the Temple of Sacred Ashes.
Exactly why all this should be left to a new divine. If you are innocent, the Chantry will establish it as so.
Or we'll be happy to use someone as a scapegoat.
You think nobody cares about the truth? We all grieve Justinia's loss.
But you won't grieve if the Herald of Andraste is conveniently swept under a carpet.
Yeah. Another line there to help kind of catch is the part where he says, well, if you are innocent, then the Chantry will be the ones to establish that. Because what we say is clearly true. If we say you're innocent, then it has to be true. It reminds me of the Conclave in StarCraft on Ire for the Protoss, that whatever they said was supposed to be doctrine. And that was how things were. And if you went against that, well, we couldn't have that. And that's basically what the Conclave would do. Kind of assert its authority in that regard. With mouthpieces, kind of like Roderick here, along with the guy who we interacted with in StarCraft 1. Now, in Brood War, he was better because the Conclave was actually gone, because they got killed by the Zerg. But you probably get my point, what I'm saying here.
Don't let anyone riot while we're gone.
The walls will be standing when you return, I hope.
You'll notice Mother Giselle is now here.
Researcher Minave wishes to verify that the infections have decreased in number.
Yes. Thank you for your help. Tell me.
Alright, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that the table is now open normally. So this is unique to our Qunari character, Adar. I heard you were dead, and then a prisoner, and then maybe you fell out of the Fade and landed on your head and forgot who you were. Seriously, stop that. We still haven't been paid. Some of our kith made it out of that giant, giant hole full of demons after the explosion. The rest are dead or missing. I don't know how many were rounded up by angry humans. If you're not dead and you remember who you are, help me find our brothers and sisters. Shakrakar. P.S. If you forgot who you are, I'll remind you. Your name is Adar. You're Vashoth. You didn't get paid for being blown up. P.P.S. If you are dead, disregard this message. So, Josephine, the nobles are likely keeping Qunari from crossing their lands. We can negotiate passage. Leliana. Many Tal Vashoth were likely captured and imprisoned after the conclave. Our agents could free them. Cullen. We can send a patrol to find the scattered Tal Vashoth mercenaries in the wilderness. Let's go with what Leliana says.
Let's see what we have.
Adar. Kato came back looking like she had crawled out of a dragon's mouth. Some of the others, too. Most of them wounded. All of them angry, but alive. Alive is important. They said they were sprung from some noble's dungeon by people in eyeball armor. I assume that's your doing. Thanks. Shak Rakar. P.S. Good work on not being dead. P.P.S. We still haven't been paid. Look, he's a mercenary. He knows his priorities. Meanwhile, in Ferelden, we've got rescue soldiers in that area. Gather coin, scout the Storm Coast, Black Emporium, Harden Hightown, Turn of Highever, Nobleman's Concerns. Yeah, I want to get the Black Emporium unlocked. Let's do that. That way I can double check what's going on with this bug I'm having with my character's hair. Because it's getting rather concerning. The other reason is because, as I mentioned, because of the mods I have, the Black Emporium has shops with some very handy stuff. I'll go ahead and show that off for a moment. And then I'll cut this off so I can also go ahead and figure out what to do on my own off camera about this issue with the character's hair. After all, like I said, if I wasn't entirely satisfied or okay with what was going on with her appearance, I could always just... Did the game freeze? Oh, dear Lord. I have a feeling that this could be a problem. If I have an issue here where now all of a sudden... So the mouse is moving, but you can see that's not moving. And also you'll notice this loading screen is taking a little longer than usual. I could have a situation here where I may have to start removing mods just to progress. The problem is, of course, I don't know which mods are preventing this. And let's just say also the idea of removing mods and then re-adding them to progress is not all that great and fun. I had that issue going on with Andromeda. But anyways, well, I guess this is a perfect time to go ahead and cut it off. I'll try and see if I can figure out what's going on and try and fix it for when we continue this playthrough. I will see you guys later. Stay tuned.